Shalom. Once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Barasham, Yahweh Barasham, Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Kiam. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Barasham, Yahweh Barasham, Rakakwadash, all praises and glory is due, especially in the times that we're in, right? And I really did not want to do this video. This is why I'm kind of late on it, because this whole gender war thing, right? How if you go online, you always see um the Jake, right, 2/3 and the nigger women, they're always battling it out concerning this gender war. And you know what the scriptures say? Let's get that. Avoid strifes, right? Endless genealogies with which bring let's see, final precept. Let's get that. Avoid strifes and endless genealogy, which brings confusion instead of godly edifying. Let's just use that one. Godly edifying. And yeah, it is. So this is the book of First Timothy 1, verse 4. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions, rather than godly edifying, which is in faith to do so. Right, so let me also get this one going into stripes as well. Let's see if I can find the exact one I'm looking for. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, it is. So now this is the book of 2 Timothy 2, verse 23. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes, right? So it doesn't mean that, oh, gender strife like gender warring, but no, it means gender strife like creating stripes, right? So yeah, I don't really do this. I didn't really want to go into it because it's just a ridiculous gender war notion, and really, in this truth, we already know what the nigger woman is about, right? We already know what Eve is about. We already know what the scriptures say, and let's get that precept once again, right? The scriptures say, "She that is my enemy," right? Let's get that. We already know that Esau, Edom, and the Israelites woman have already teamed up with each other, right, to continue they have already teamed up with each other basically against the Israelite man. So this is the book of Micah 7 verse 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her. We said unto me, where is Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And which is why you see that if you go to the elder Manat Zagba's videos, if you go to the elder, the Holy Bible Defenders, and I've forgotten the elder's name, if you go to their channels and watch their videos, you will see that it is mainly the Israelite woman, right, that is always um scoffing against this truth, right? So a recent thing that happened, here in Africa, and it's really mainly in Kenya and Ghana, right? Other African countries still pending. Well, of course, it also could happen in other countries as well, including here in Nigeria. It's just that the individuals that would be involved weren't caught. Okay, so you had a Russian man, similar to what you heard by that Jake in the beginning of the video. You have a Russian man that is going around, having um really sex with these different African women, recording it, posting it online on the internet and sharing it with other people. So multiple people were watching it, right? And it went viral. Now this thing has broke out and everybody's talking about it. I'm sure that you actually also saw videos going into it as well. And really, I don't even have anything to say about the actual situation because it's no surprise to anybody, right? We already know how the so-called black woman, right? How Eve, the Israelite woman, behaves, especially when it comes to Esau, Edom. Okay, we already know about the curses that these women are not our women, right? The Israelite woman is not our women, okay? And that she has completely surrendered to Esau, Edom. This is already obvious and part of the core, something that it doesn't even need to be spoken about too much, right? Let me get another quick precept, right? Women are their oppressors and children rule over them. Let's get that. So this is the book of Isaiah 3 verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths, right? And the children, of course, here is referring to Esau, Edom, right? You can go to the book of Job. Let's get that. That should be the book of Job 30. They that are younger than I, which of course is referring to Esau, Edom, because the nation of Esau, Edom, right? Even though Esau was the firstborn, in the spirit, the Israelites were created before the Edomites, right? Or created for the Edomite souls. So this is the book of Job 30 verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. And of course, because I recently even just saw a video of Laura Luma, right? Which is one of these US politician or political figures kissing a dog in the mouth. And it's a common practice with these Edomites, man. And we know how these Edomites deal when it comes to the relations with these animals. That's why bestiality is still legal in so many parts of the US, right? So many states in the US, bestiality is still legal, and in so many states in the US, you're often hearing stories about, Edomite men and women, because Edomite women be freaky and degenerate as hell, man. Edomite men and women dealing with these animals, man. Having sex with these animals, right? And that's why, this is, of course, goes back to Esau being the wicked, which the Bible speaks of. And this is what Job is speaking about here. That you can't set with the dogs of your flock, in other words, the dogs that you're training to herd your animals, your sheep and your other cattle, right? Because of how Esau operates, right? Because of how Esau acts when he's near these animals, right? This is the damn devil which we are speaking about right now, and also the devil which the Bible speaks of. But that's beside the point. I'm just going into this just to show you that this is speaking about Esau, Edom, right? So yeah, now let's go back to that precept, right? Children are okay. I've already read the main point, right? Women are oppressors and children rule over us, and through Esau, Edom, right? Through and because of we're under the rule of Esau, Edom, we're in Esau's kingdom right now. That is why you see that the nigger woman is raised up, right, and given a higher position than Israelite man. Okay, so now let's go into the actual article. Um, I don't know why everything is in pidgin, right? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, this isn't what I'm looking for. Okay, just strange. Okay. Okay. So let's go into it right here. Okay. I'm trying to find an article that I can read that will basically give enough details about what's going on in this situation, right? So this is the article right here. Ghana investigates case of the Russian hunk exploiting local women and sexually and filming the lewd acts. That's basically what happened, right? And the same thing also happened in Kenya as well, where you have this Russian um, Edomite looking individual, right, that goes to these different nations. He seduces the women, he sleeps with them, and then he records the act of sex and posts it online, right, sharing it online with different people to watch. And I forget the exact links and things like that, so I'm not really going to go into that. You have so many people that have been talking about it, especially here in Africa, because it's a major deal. Oh, one of these Edomites got caught doing what they normally do, because this has been happening in Kenya for a long time, man. And you know how these Jakes are in the world, especially Jake here in Africa, right? And over there in Kenya, it's mainly Hamites that are there. You know how these people that are in the world, the heathen and even the Israelites as well, how much they love Esau Edom, how much Esau Edom is still loved over here, especially in Africa, right? Because why in Babylon the Great, and Jake is waking up faster into the wickedness of Esau Edom than Jake, here in Africa. But that's beside the point once again. The main point is the video that I played right before this one, where you had that Jake speaking about how, oh, this Russian man came to Africa and completely embarrassed, the so-called black man. I'm completely embarrassed. How can this man just come here and do this to our women? If it was the other way around, he wouldn't be happy and blah 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 and other things like that, right? And really, okay, the point that I'm making with this video is that, hey man, on this side, right, the women, our women, do not belong to us. That's the thing. The apostles and the elders always go into this as well, and that's why the apostles and the elder, that's why the apostles always says, stay away from the nigger woman, right? Stay away from the Judite woman, right? Because of situations like this, right? Because of let me quickly get a precept. Let's get that precept, right? That basically a wicked woman grieveth her husband. I think that should be Ecclesiasticus 25 or 27, right? Let's see. I think it should be this one. Yeah, it is. Ecclesiasticus 25, verse 23. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Right. Basically, because of that, that the only thing that the nigger woman can give you is distress and sorrow, okay? And the only reason why, anybody, all these, you see all these simpers, white light jigs out there are trying to defend the honor of Eve, right? All you're going to do is just end up, embarrassing yourself, right? Because these women have no honor, especially when it comes to Esau Edom. And you can watch the videos yourself. You can go online and look at some of the videos that were posted up about how he was actually, speaking and talking to these women, and you see how desperate they were to be with this Edomite, man, this Edomite looking guy, man. You see, because like I said, it's not our woman. This is not, Eve is not our women, right? And I'm mainly speaking about, him when he was in Ghana, because that's an actual Israelite nation with actual Israelite women that he was dealing with, right? And you can clearly see, right, that these women out here have more reverence for Esau than for Jake, right? Because, oh, they will say that, because it was in Africa, but the same thing happens in Babylon the Great as well. That's why you always hear stories in Babylon about how you have women that are being disappeared by Edomites, but you have women that are being cut off, killed. Their bodies and their heads are being found in different locations, and this is something that hasn't happened once or twice, but on multiple occasions. Okay, that's why you have your quote unquote so-called divestors and swirlers. You have so many Israelite women that are constantly talking about dealing with Edomite men, right? Dealing with the so-called white man and how much better the so-called white man is than the regular Israelite man. This is a normal thing for our women, right? But you still have so many men that want to talk about how, we have to protect our women, right? You have to protect our women. You have to have, you have to fight for our honor. That if is getting disrespected or being seen as cheap and easy on the world stage, it will poorly affect the reputation of the Israelite man. But that is the thing, right? It doesn't actually do that. There's a reason why you see and the women of other nations are beginning to, have been constantly falling more and more for the Israelite man, because, hey, the Israelite man is up right now, okay? Especially when it comes to dealing with women of the other nations, and you can see how much that these women of the other nations are fond of dealing with the Israelite man, because that's really all it is, right? And the point of this video is simply that this situation with the Russian man and Eve, really, it has nothing to do with the Israelite men, because A, two-third women are ultimately going to fall into this snare, man. That's the point right there. So now, Ecclesiasticus 25, verse 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to guard abroad. Right, and that's exactly what has happened, right? When you give the woman that liberty, when you don't have the established order that was set up by the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And this is the fruit of feminism, right? Your woman empowerment. And you see that it's also prominent even in more, eastern conservative regions of the world, like Africa, for example. These things are still prominent here, and these women still feel empowered and still feel like they can deal with all kinds of men, right? Which is why this thing is actually going viral, because this is not what normally happens every time Eve gets exposed, right? Eve gets exposed, right? Everybody sees the nigga woman once again for what she actually is, right? Everybody sees the woman for what they actually are. So let's see if I can get that preset real quick. So this is the book of hold on, that one. Yeah, it is. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 7, or verse 9. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Right, so let me jump down a little bit. Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 12. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. Right, so yeah, you're seeing these women as the harlots that they actually are, especially when there is no order set up, right? In order for the man to be in control of the woman, like we always teach and we always say, but that's misogynist. Oh, how can you say that about the Israelite woman? How can that's misogynist and so on? I know it all and all that, right? But they will still come out and say that we are the men to protect women, we are the men to do this, we are the men to do that. But where but when the men actually when the men actually set up the order and tell the women exactly what to do, right? They will go ahead and disregard all that. That shows you, man, that shows, like I said, these are not our women, man. This is Esau. It's Esau's woman. That's why they follow Esau's philosophies and his ideologies. Your feminism, your women empowerment. That's why these women are more um obedient to their bosses, which is always Esau, which is Esau men, than the man that is leading their house. That's why you had the Man in the House Act, and Eve was so quick and eager to kick the man out of the house in order to get those benefits, right? And that that's mainly talking about what happened in Babylon the Great, right? But that applies because it's still the Israelite woman doing that. So yeah, let me end the video right here. Nothing much to go into. So with that, once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yawashai, Basham Rakakwada, Shwa Abad Babal, and to the Spirit. I hope you are Kiam and you are quite edified. Shalom.